Hello, hello. Welcome to LadyGang. I am Becca Tobin here with Jack Vanek and Kelty Knight.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
everybody. I just gonna pop open a...
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke with your Celsius.
I'm troubled.
Breakfast of champions. Any water in that mix or no?
I had a big jug of water this morning.
Okay.
I start the morning with
So
water
you've
now.
had it's 11 a.m. You've had a Celsius and a Diet Coke, or 2 Celsius.
1 Celsius, having a Diet Coke and a banana and water, and our sandwiches are on the way.
Can I have a sip of that Celsius?
It's gone.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, friend.
You're really willy-nilly about sharing drinks.
I know.
It makes me nervous.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
My nightmare, like I'm not a germaphobe, but like a straw is one thing that I don't feel as grimy about.
like a
but
can.
a can where your whole mouth is really like,
Yeah.
I usually do a waterfall when I have a sip.
oh, right, where
Yeah.
it doesn't touch the lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your shoes? Because oh no, I probably got to get them. But can you talk about, people are going to ask.
Okay, so
It's really
I
cute.
got these when we were in Nashville doing our LadyGang show. There was a little boutique there. I wish I remembered the name because they had such good stuff. Okay, so they're called Beach by Matisse.
Oh, yeah, Matisse.
And they were $60.
Can I see the logo, please?
Yep, Beach by
You
Matisse.
know, Matisse footwear. They're like
Matisse
a big
footwear.
brand.
Oh.
Anybody listening, it's sort of a
you wear them at the airport?
it's like a fuzzy Birkenstock. No, I like to do a sneaker in the airport.
This is your home shoe.
This is a home shoe or like a school drop-off running errand shoe.
Yeah.
Because I feel like slightly it's slipper adjacent.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm not the person who goes to the airport in slippers. You know that's what the teens do these days.
I know.
That's why I try to do it. I'm really trying to.
Slippers?
I started wearing slippers to
No.
work.
No, I do a sneaker because my feet get too cold.
But that's what, it's like the perfect sneaker adjacent. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well-
don't be mad when I get them.
It's fine. I'm used to it now. It's time for
Good week,
Yes, it is.
bad week. Oh no.
Who wants to go? I'll
I'll
go.
go.
Oh, it's okay.
Becca, you start.
Okay, so this is gross, and we just did a thing with Aveeno, and there were not many moms in the audience, and I talked about poop, and this isn't the bad part. And I just realized sometimes it's annoying to hear moms talk about things when there's not a lot of other moms, so I'm sorry in advance for talking about being a mom. However, this has been consuming my life for months now. Ford and his bowel movements. He is really constipated. He holds it. It's been a process.
Does he just like not like pooping? Is
He
that
doesn't.
why?
I think it freaks him out, the
Yeah.
sensation. And then if it's really hard to get out, it's a whole thing. I've tried everything.
Do you give him the share plum?
Dude,
I don't think you can give that
No.
to him. I think he would blow out his intestine.
no, that like literally almost kills me.
Yeah.
But just a tiny nibble?
No.
I can't risk it. I have friends that
No.
do like aloe for their kids, but even this young, they don't recommend something
Yeah.
aggressive.
Well, because then you're also going to make them dependent on something like that for
Right.
the rest of their lives.
Right. So I have a girlfriend of mine who told me about, they're called pooper drops.
Oh.
And BioRay, I think, is the brand. This is not an ad, but I would gladly support pooper
I can't wait
drops.
to be the face of toddler
I'm
bowel movements.
dressed for
kids?
it is specifically for kids, but I have considered trying it out myself.
Yeah.
Just
Do a
dosing.
test.
I am the size of a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gave this to him, and really within a couple hours, he had a
Great.
very good movement. And then I gave it to him one other time. The final time that I did it, I think his body's like really adjusting. Within seconds, he's in the backyard
Pavlov's dog.
taking the droppers in his mouth, drops his pants and shits in my backyard like a dog.
Nice.
And he goes, "Mommy, the pooper drops worked."
Oh my God.
So that was my win, you guys. So sorry to anybody without children.
Dude, as a constipated person, that's a massive win.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can even
massive
imagine being
win.
a kid
And you can't,
not
you don't
even-
understand that you're constipated. Now, is he potty trained or you're working on it?
He's potty trained. But the
Wow.
pooping
That's
is
why he took
hard.
his pants down and pooped in the yard.
Yeah, that's why he took his pants out. But it is hard because at school, he's very similar to me. When I was in school, I really needed privacy. And
Yeah.
they don't give kids privacy.
Sure.
There's like
Yeah.
5 in a line looking at each other, waiting to go sit on the
Yeah.
toilet.
Yeah.
And some just poop with no abandon. And he needs more privacy, just like me.
Aw.
So it's been a struggle at school, but he's like fully potty trained. But there's so many
Congrats,
skid
Becca.
marks. Thank
That's
you so much.
huge.
So it's been a good week.
Probably more potty trained than me. Okay.
Probably. My bad week is I when you guys came to Austin the night before we had our show, I had the weirdest, freakiest allergic reaction to something, and I have not been able to figure out what the it was. I woke up 10 p.m. because I fell asleep at 8. Mm-hmm. Woke up at 10 p.m. Within seconds, my throat starts itching so badly.
So it's a food thing.
Yeah, and then my nose gets fully clogged. Okay. There's no unclogging this. And then my body is itching everywhere.
Welcome to the hives.
I know, I felt your pain. And I'm like, what? There was nothing, I could not figure out what it was, and I still can't. So now I have to go get pricked because I'm like, is it food? Because it could be some sort of
when the throat scratches, it's usually like you've eaten a blueberry or a berry.
But that happens to me with food I'm allergic to, like right away.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
This was hours after I ate anything.
But what? It could be your mouthwash, toothpaste, something that like
nothing changed.
Weird that it happened in the middle of the night because you're not doing anything.
No, it had been hours since I put anything.
Probably ate a spider, allergic spider.
Maybe.
They crawl in your mouth while you're sleeping. I don't
you
make
swallow
science.
8 a year.
I don't make science. I saw one on my pillowcase. I knew it was coming from my mouth. I snapped it up.
Oh, God. Well, I don't know. Stay tuned because this is very annoying.
Sucks.
It's the second time this has happened. And I thought it was dried fruit before, but I didn't have dried fruit this time. So.
No.
Okay.
I'll go. So I recently watched a video that Tinks posted the other day, and the video is basically about how she's like, for so long I've really like pretended that I was Gen Z, and she's like, and I finally started embracing maybe she's like on the cusp of like Gen Z and Millennial.
Because I think she's
a little bit
early, mid-30s maybe.
Yeah, maybe like early. Anyways, but she's like, I'm finally like embracing the Millennial, and she's like, it feels so good. And all of the comments, it's like, we're so lucky to be millennials. Mm-hmm. Like being Gen Z kind of sucks because it's like they're really trying to be cool, and millennials are so cringe, and it's just like the best thing ever. And there was one of the comments on it. There's 2 comments that I really loved. One of them was, millennial cringe was just unfiltered joy and whimsy.
It's true.
Aww. Isn't it so true? And then
true.
The other comment was, to be millennial is to be free.
It is so true.
Maybe you need to make that shirt.
I know.
Oh my
Wow.
God, can you all wear it?
To be
I will
millennials,
too.
to be free. It'll be a LadyGang one.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah. It's so true. It's like we are so cringy, and like we're just like loving life and taking really filtered pictures and like
you gave us a smorgasbord of activities and activations, and we tried each one. We weren't right. They weren't all good for us, but we're going to do it. Like we've lived all the lives.
I know.
Did you know it's cringe and millennial to use a red heart emoji on Instagram?
Are you supposed to do the
No, I guess there's a different red Pantone one that you're supposed to use because allegedly it's very cringe. It's showing you're millennial.
Well, that was the same
I
thing with
wanna
the cry
show my
laughing
laughing.
emoji.
Oh yeah, should we put all the emojis on the shirt?
That are, like,
maybe
millennial?
somewhere tiny, so it's like where it's all millennial use.
Well, now it's like you're supposed to use the skull instead of the cry
dead.
laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I tried for a bit and it like wasn't working.
It's too spooky.
I do that.
It's not spooky.
I do the skull. I like dead.
But the skull is not like laughing. But like
But dead is even further than laughing.
No, I know. It just wasn't hitting the way.
I understand.
But anyways, I just
Dead is further than laughing. And I quote Becca Tobin.
and I'm
You
dead.
don't say.
dead.
Okay, so my bad week. All right. So obviously moved to Orange County. Mission Viejo is the city that we live in. It's the city I grew up in. It's so beautiful. I love our house. There is nothing to do in Mission Viejo. Like we've got.
I knew this was going to be a problem years ago.
No, listen, it's fine because we can drive 10 minutes into like beach towns or San Juan Capistrano is like the prettiest, cutest little town ever. But in Mission Viejo, there is nothing. There's a CPK near us. That's like the place that we could go get a drink, like which is fine. I love CPK. But right by our house, there's this whole shopping center that for years they're going to redo it. They're going to put in like restaurants and bars and like whatever. And it's always kind of just been this thing that's been on the back burner. And I follow this woman on Instagram, and she always she's the South OC, like what are the new developments lady. And the other day she posted this Instagram story. She goes, I have the most incredible news for Mission Viejo. She's like, you're going to want to put on notifications for this one because I am shocked. I've never seen anything like this. And I'm like, they're going to build the center. Like I'm finally going to have like a nice restaurant to go to. She posts about it the next day. It is a Costco, not just a Costco gas station. No Costco attached, but just a gas station.
In that place that you want,
Not
or
in the
just a
same
different
place.
one.
It's down the street. But I'm like, this is the exciting news that we get from Mission Viejo is
But the
a
gas is
station.
so much cheaper at Costco.
But people
line up for hours.
But that's what I'm saying. Then you're lining up for hours. It's like, so
Money is time, people.
I'm like, this is the huge news. And I commented on her post. I'm like, I am so disappointed.
You're like, I need
Wow.
a wine bar.
It's
Vinny's
coming.
wine
All
and
I
cheese.
want is just something. And then like, they're like, yeah, Mission Viejo, one of the other big things that happened was they put in a Wendy's. I'm like, who's putting it in a new Wendy's somewhere?
Wow.
Lots of people.
You could have put in a
Wendy's
Cava.
is growing. Wow.
Frosties.
Who knew?
I know. I know like maybe a Wendy's that has been there, but they built a new building and put a Wendy's in the new building.
Well,
When we could have put a Shake Shack.
wow.
I thought
They
a
do
lot
have
about
a-
franchising. I would love to know if any LadyGangers are franchisers.
My dad franchised restaurants for a long time.
He did, and then he sold them.
We should franchise a Jersey Mike's.
Or Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, you have to
People
see
go to
what's
Dunkin'
franchisable and what is.
I just
Jersey
saw
Mike's
and
is.
It is?
I subscribe to Entrepreneur Magazine, and
Yeah.
they just had their franchise episode.
Oh.
And it was like the top 100 growing fastest franchises.
What are
One
they?
is what's the chicken that Snoop
Chick-fil-A?
Dogg loves? No,
Oh,
Raising
Cane's?
Cane's.
Yeah.
That's the number one.
Gross.
Growing. Okay.
It's too many carbs.
Don't worry, Jack. Once you have kids, you won't even care what's around the corner because you'll just be at your house.
Picking up poop
But
in your
that's what I
backyard.
wanted around the corner because we could walk to this place. I'm like, I just want like
Yeah.
something that's like decent.
Yeah, I get
But
it.
there's not. Or I thought they were maybe going to do a Whole Foods, but it was a gas station. So that's where I'm
Wow.
at. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies. Kelty?
My good week is that we went on a trip recently, and on our plane were the girls from Girls Gotta Eat.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley and Raina. And
They're so fun.
then we saw them in the bathroom. So we got off the plane, like we saw them on the plane. We're like, oh my God, talk to you when we get out. But then like, you get off a plane and you're like, I'm just going where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
waiting
No.
behind to like visit with Ashley. No offense to you, Ashley. But then we all went to the bathroom and then we saw each other again. So
Yeah.
we had like a little kiki in the bathroom. And I just have to say, and this was on top of someone recently sent me a video of Girl with No Job, Claudia. She got interviewed by Forbes, and she was like talking about YouTubers and podcasters getting TV shows and how that was like the thing. And she went on and on about LadyGang TV, and she was
I
like,
loved-
that show was so good, and like they didn't give it a chance. Like same thing with Lily's late night show. Like they just didn't give it a chance, and now nobody cares. Like that's the TV's problem, is that nobody gave these digital shows a chance to
Yeah.
grow on TV, and so digital was like, we're good anyway. But I think it's just really cool. And then Griggly Squad girls, like I had message Paige about something and I was like, good luck, like have a good time. And then she mentioned on Giggly Squad, like us, and just being like,
cute.
they've been such an inspiration. And like, this is what's wild, is that I just think it's so cool. Like, yes, we're all in competition. Like we're competing for ad dollars,
not
sure.
really.
But not
There's
really.
enough to go around.
Yeah.
But there's something really cool about you see them and you're like, these are people we only see once in our lifetime.
Yeah.
But like, because we do what we do and they do what we know, we have the same lives. We have the
Yeah.
same struggles. We have the same booking. We have the same calendar. Like we have the same stuff. It was just really cool. And I felt very seen by them.
No, they were so great. And that is the second time I've run into Ashley at the airport.
Wow.
I've never run into anybody else in my life at the airport except for Ashley twice.
Wow.
They're
Isn't that so
so
weird?
funny. And
They're
like,
great.
what
They're
else
so
is
great.
really interesting is that each one of the shows has its own strengths. They sell like this Chelsea Theater in Vegas,
Oh, yeah, they're
3,500
massive.
seats, like huge tickets, you know what I mean? But like we can make merch and get TVs and books. Like, so everyone has their own, it's very cool. Anyway, okay. My bad week is that Justin Sylvester sent me a text. He is my co-host on E! And recently someone that he's friends with reached out. I was like up for a job and they were like, hey, I'm checking in. Like, I know you work with Kelty. What is she like? And he sent me the text of what he said about me. It's so dismal, guys.
Oh my
I
God.
was like, you should have like, first of all, you should have checked with me before you sent this text. But this is what he said.
But you thought it was so good enough to screenshot and send back to you?
Yeah.
That's a man.
He said,
Yeah.
Justin was asked to describe me. He said, she can definitely put her foot in her mouth. And she semi doesn't care if she's liked.
Oh my God. Wait, that was, you were up for a job?
Yeah.
But he didn't say anything nice?
No, but then he said the nice stuff. But he didn't send that
you
to me.
need to.
He was like, I was asked about like, he basically said, can definitely put her foot in her mouth, which is funny on TV. And Semi doesn't care if she's liked, which is also funny on TV.
Yeah.
Like,
No, those
they're
are
kind of
compliments.
good
Those are
in like,
compliments.
you're
Right.
trying to make
But
TV.
That I was worried that was the only feedback he gave.
No.
So there was a bunch of nice stuff.
I think there was, well, I don't know. Maybe I should ask him. He didn't send me that. I'm assuming it is.
No, yeah.
This is one of those jobs where it's kind of good to be bad, like a bad girl.
Oh,
so
whoa.
I'm glad.
Bad Girls Club?
No, but like I'm very boring, so it's good to be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the job we've been talking about? This is so different than a hosting job.
Yeah.
I'm worried that this out of context makes him seem like a really big asshole.
No, that's actually a very big compliment for the job that you're up for.
Okay, yes. I'm up for a job to play myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a dramatic situation. Ish, kind of. And yeah, so no, this is the best thing he could possibly say.
Yeah, it is. It's a compliment.
Yes.
But that is funny.
But it's also just funny because it's exactly what I would want him to say, because I'm like, oh, they're going to be like, oh, she'd be great for this because she's like dramatic and she could be a great traitor. You know what I mean? It's traitor-esque.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I'd be great TV. But then I sat back and I was like, damn, he came up with that on his own. Like, I didn't even have to coach him about my worst qualities. He just knew them right away. And I was like, ugh.
They are pretty
those
obvious.
are two amazing qualities for what you're up for.
Yeah.
And they're very true.
Thank you.
And strong qualities.
Thank you so much. Okay, Matteo's here. Bye.
The Lady Gang.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab your wine, twirl your spaghetti, and get ready for a comedy feast, because today he is the pasta shaming, opera singing, ab mastering king of stand-up. Did I mention he also speaks 5 languages? He's been named one of Variety's 10 comics to watch. He's literally sold out shows around the world. I'm talking legendary venues like Carnegie Hall and the Kennedy Center, casual. You've seen him in Abbott Elementary, Netflix's Survival of the Thickest. And if that's not enough, he's also the co-host of the hit side-splitting podcast, I Never Liked You. He's here to dish on his brand new Hulu comedy special, the Dente Special, and his must-read cookbook, Your Pasta Sucks. Please welcome to the Lady Gang, the hilarious and way more successful than us, Matteo Lane.
I need to come on this show every day. This is such a boost of confidence.
What 5 languages do you speak?
It's like I speak English and Italian fluently, and then I speak Spanish. If you don't speak Spanish, I'm fluent. If you speak Spanish, I'm proficient. However, you have an Italian accent, so they always sound like Mario and Luigi. And I would say my French is the same as my Spanish, like easily to communicate, say everything I'm feeling, thinking, blah, blah, blah. I just can't like talk about like medical issues or do like past subjunctive in certain like French for sure. And then I took German in high school, and I had a teacher named Herr Katzenmeier who never spoke English to us. So my German's rusty, but I can still understand it at a very basic level. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, it was crazy.
Wow, you have a language brain.
So you're actually meant to be a superstar because you can speak all the languages. Also, you sold out Radio City. What was that like?
Well, it's in 2 weeks, and I'm nervous as
That's so exciting.
But what
I
a
know.
theater.
I know, and we went to go do promo at it, and so, like, I mean, I've been doing stand-up 17 years, so to find, like, most of my career for 15 years was performing at, like, the Ha Ha Hut in Dayton, Ohio for 6 people that hate me, and just bombing every week and performing in basically toilets. And so the fact that I'm, like, even doing theaters, I'm like, they're so pretty. And so Radio City is the biggest one I've done. It's 6,000 seats, and I'm just like, damn, like we did the promo there, and I'm just walking around. I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, how did I get here? Like, what happened?
That's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you said that, though, because I'm like, oh my God, you're everywhere. You're crushing it. And then I'm like a little jealous because I'm like, damn, like people do get success and they don't have to just podcast only for the rest of their lives. Like, but then you're saying it's 17-year overnight sensation ish.
I mean, yeah, I started when I was 23 in Chicago. So now I'm moving on to 39. And it just was, it's a lot. It feels like it was nothing. And then it feels like it was a long time. But basically, you know, for years, I would say before 2020, remember that, I was just, you know, trying to play the game and just trying to like audition and trying to sell an hour to Netflix but I just was rejected at every corner. And so after 2020, like in 2021, comics like Schultz and Sam Morril started putting their clips online. And that's when I called Andrew Schultz, and he was like, because I was trying to do a club in Miami, the Improv, and I sold 19 tickets, which actually I have a really sweet story about that. But so they canceled the show. So I was like, okay, I'm a loser. I can't pay rent. Like I can't afford food. I don't know what I'm doing. And Schultz was like, just take the hour that you were trying to sell to Netflix of all your jokes and just put them up online. I'll show you how to do it. So I did. I mean, in a way, I was kind of grandfathered in as like one of the first few waves of comics doing it. And like, I don't know, by that October, I had started selling out all clubs. And then it slowly moved to like theaters and clubs. It was so strange. But then a year later, I went back to Miami. I did 6 sold out shows at that Improv. And when I was at the pool, the Standard, gay, this Italian guy walked up to me, and in Italian, he was like, "Hey, you're Matteo, right?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, I tried to see you last year in Miami. I go, "Oh, they canceled the show. No one bought them." He goes, "No, I know no one bought them because I called and asked them how many tickets do we need in order to have a show, and they said 18, so I bought 18 tickets."
Oh,
wait, what? It would have just been him and one other person.
Yeah, and I was so touched. I was like, "Oh my God!" Like,
Did you invite him to Radio City?
No, he's in Miami, but I brought him to the Miami shows, and then when I went to Fort Lauderdale and did like a proper theater, he came to those shows, so it was like full circle. But it was so sweet. I was like, "Oh my God, you were the only one."
That's so sweet. Oh my God.
I love that. And also, I love when people get a level of success and they have worked their asses off and had like, you'll be able to stand at Radio City and you'll be like, okay, because you did the grunt work and you've had the disappointments of like a show not selling, a thing not going your way, the no's. So it's like Jonathan Bennett said once to me, he said, the yeses that you're getting in your life right now are actually a celebration of all the no's it took you to get to the yes. So you don't just celebrate it as a yes, you celebrate it as like overcoming the no's. And I just like, I'm so happy for you. Okay. So you got the book. You're looking cute in this apron.
Very cute.
I have to tell you, I was at work yesterday at E.
Look at it.
I know.
So
and I
cute.
mentioned that you were coming on, and we did spend my entire hour and 15 minutes, that's how long it takes, of glam, the entire 6 people just looking at hot pictures of you. On the internet. we looked at everyone because there is a Yahoo article called 30 Steamy Pics of Matteo Lane that got us all hot and bothered. Do you know about this article?
No, that's humiliating because I'm like, okay, one's before my hair transplants, one's before my Botox, one's before I started working out. I'm sure it's my ass. Like, I'm so embarrassed.
But
you're really
the fact that you have 30 steamy pics like that. Honestly, who cares about Radio City? There's 30 steamy pics of you. There was enough hot pictures of you on the internet that Yahoo could make a gallery.
Well, first, they must have a slow day. And secondly, how desperate do I look that I've got more than 5 pictures? I'm like, Jesus, am I that desperate? My God.
No, when you got it, you got it, you know? God gave with 2 hands for you. He was like, we'll make him funny and hot. You're welcome, world.
Plastic surgeon. That really helped a lot.
Oh, really? What have you had done? Let's go around in circles.
I got 2 hair transplants.
2?
Yeah, and then I buzzed it, and everyone's mad about it. They're like, why would you get a hair transplant to buzz it? I'm like, it's about the hairline.
Yeah.
I did it in New York. Dr. Wesley Carlos, great doctor. And,
you didn't fly to Turkey like all those men?
I don't want to be ugly on a plane for 18 hours with a wrapped head so swollen it looks like I ate a gusher. Like, I can't handle the kind of stress that would take on me. I'd rather just be ugly at home.
Did it hurt?
It's not that it hurt. I mean, I'm sure it hurt, but they basically knock you out. I had a joke where I was like, because I don't drink or do drugs. So when I walked in, like, they tell you not to eat anything. And so I walk in and they're like, all right, Matteo, take this. It was 2 Valium and an Ambien. And I mean, I'm sure I said that they had a conversation beforehand. They're like, well, he's a New York gay. We better, so I took it, and I swear to God, in 30 seconds, like, the last thing I remember was, I think I was talking about Game of Thrones. I was like, Game of Thrones are, and then you just wake up with your head wrapped. I looked like the Sultan in Aladdin, and then off home I went. But it's more like delicate. Like, you just have to be very delicate for 10 days while the grafts go into your head. So for 10 days, I'm just sort of like tiptoeing around my house and sleeping, sitting up. But then after that, like, free to go. The hair that they put in falls out. And then 3 months later, it grows in like a chia pet.
Wow. That's like a newborn. You know, newborns, they lose all their hair and then they grow new hair, which is why some
It went to my doctor.
Oh my God. Okay. So what did the fam think of your pasta sucks, and why a cookbook? Like, it's a cookbook. I mean, there's recipes in it, but then there's also like, it's
comedy.
It's comedy.
Yeah, and that's how I sold it too. It came about because when I started my YouTube channel with my producer Chris Cazzo 3 years ago, literally I was like, what do I have to do to fill the time? Like this is kind of where the movement's going. So I want everything to be comedy related. So I was like, well, I can just I know how to cook. My mom taught me how to cook. So I'll just cook. And then in the meantime, like I'll just chit chat and it'll be kind of like a mini comedy show. So I just did all the recipes that I know, and it ended up becoming really popular, and people were making my dish. Like I wasn't expecting that. I just was looking for a venue to chit chat because I know people like cooking and comedy. So when Chronicles, the publishing company, were like, "Oh, we want to do a cookbook with you," and I was like, "Well, I'm not an author. I'm also not a chef," and they were like, "No, like we watched your YouTube channel." First, they were like, "We want 80 recipes." I'm like, I don't even know how to make 80 recipes. Like I'm not Martha Stewart. And I was like, why don't we just do a mix? Like do my YouTube channel. I'll do half cooking and then just half funny stories. Like it's not Hemingway. There's no arc. Like I'm just on a plane for a year, just throwing a million stories at my editor and having them compile them together. But it was actually fun. And it actually made me sort of go back into my mind and remember, okay, like one, how much I've learned about pasta, living in Italy, stories about my family, stories about my friends. It's just a nice venue to sort of express those stories and not feel like everything has to be super funny. Like when you're on stage, I have that need of like every 30 seconds, there's got to be a joke somewhere. So it was way less stress to just sit and write stories and have them be either funny or have funny anecdotes and not necessarily be like punchline, punchline, punchline.
It's so beautiful. And my question is, Olive Garden for the rest of your life, or never eat pasta again?
I would probably do Olive Garden just because I could at least try and fix the order. Like, okay, just put like rigatoni with butter on it. Something, because I eat pasta probably 4 days a week.
How do you look like that? I don't understand.
My trainer hates me.
Marry, kill: Alfredo sauce, marinara sauce, pesto sauce.
So, I mean, okay, I would probably kill Alfredo sauce. I mean, these are like the American versions, right?
Right.
I'd kill Alfredo sauce. I would probably pesto and marry marinara. Marinara, that's so funny. I'm such a loser.
Marinara.
Pizza marinara, which means just sauce, because it was from like the mariner, like the sea people who were coming and couldn't afford cheese. So that's why they call that pizza una marinara. So when you get red sauce in America, that somehow moved over to marinara, but no one in Italy calls red sauce marinara. They call it pasta al sugo or pasta al pomodoro.
Wow.
We're in love
Stanley
with you.
Tucci. Did you see Stanley Tucci's clip of him saying marinara? How do you say
No,
it?
I don't. I wonder if he speaks Italian, because I made fun of Giada De Laurentiis for so long because I thought she was like, she would always be like, and now we mix the spaghetti, and it was so annoying. But then I watched an interview with her in Italy, and she was fully in Italian. She's like, "Oh, io sono felice di pensare di quando ero una piccola ragazza che sono nato qui a Roma." I'm like, oh wait, no, she like literally speaks Italian. I take it all back. I publicly apologize, Giada. You're great.
Wow.
What do you think of Meghan Markle and her cooking? Are you watching
Excuse
it?
me, Megan Sussex. Go.
Oh, sorry. She's Sussex now. I love it. I want rainbow. I want flour sprinkles on everything. Would you ever do like a full cooking show? I mean, you kind of have that already. So, and you own it.
I mean,
so forget it.
Cooking shows, like I was getting a pedicure the other day in North Carolina with my friend Nick, who I do the podcast with, and they just had the Food Network on TV. And at this point, I'm like, first of all, the lighting looks like everyone's cooking in an elevator, and secondly, like why, like it's just recipe. Like we've lost the plot here. Like I don't know that I want a cooking show that way, because the YouTube is great because I can cook what I want. It's personal. It's in my home. The cooking sets always look overlit and overfit. Like, go back to the Barefoot Contessa. Let's be in her $2 barn, and I want to view a life I don't understand in the Hamptons and see what rich people live like. Like that to me is a cooking show.
100%. All right, let's talk about the most important ingredient in any recipe: Diet Coke. Defend Diet Coke.
Are you referring to when I cook Kathy Mitchell's recipes from the infomercials and she used Diet Coke as a chocolate like substitute?
I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's a fabulous, it's.
Well, I've definitely been turned into a Diet Coke gay. Like, and also Colin Quinn, he's a comedian, and he has gotten me addicted to Diet Coke. So now I just always have Diet Coke stocked in my fridge. But would I use it as a cooking recipe? I'm going to be honest. I made muffins with the turbo cooker, which was an infomercial thing. I became obsessed with it. And they weren't as bad as I thought. But would I use it again in the future? No.
Is a turbo cooker like an air fryer?
That feels like an easy bake oven that you got when you were a little girl, when you were like 8.
literally those two combined.
That sounds great.
The way they sell in the commercials, like, are you sick of cooking 7 meals at once? And it's always a woman like panicking, cooking like a roast beef, pasta, lasagna, like ridiculous things you never cook together. Well, you need the turbo cooker. And then it's like this giant UFO. It's like, we use the power of steam to cook your meals. And it has like a rack, so you can have like corn on one part and then like a fish on the bottom, and the corn doesn't taste like fish. And then Kathy Mitchell comes out and kind of uses witchcraft to make it seem like it's easy, but then you realize there's 12 turbo cookers, so of course it's easy. Yeah.
Love you so much. You have a new Hulu special, which is so exciting. So it actually worked out. I mean, this is your second special.
So this is my second special. The first I put on YouTube, and I wanted to call it Netflix Said No, but my manager thought that was a really bad idea. But I still think it's funny to call it.
I think
Netflix.
it's very funny.
So funny.
I know. I'm mad I didn't go with it. So this one's the first one being produced by
like the real, like not the real, but like.
No, you mean one that I don't have to pay for? Yes, that was. It is really. No, I got like because I was filming all my stuff at the Comedy Cellar, which is my home club. I love the Comedy Cellar, and like Noam, Esty, and Liz make it so easy for comics to produce their own work there. So I would have done it there for the rest of my life, but Hulu was like, we want to do it in a theater and this and that. I'm like, okay, yeah, like that sounds cool. I mean, Netflix still said no, so I was like, all right, I'll do Hulu Disney, and it was a great experience. It comes out in May.
It's so exciting. Now, Hulu, when you joined Hulu, you said it makes you the 5th Golden Girl. What is your Golden Girl persona?
I am a mix between B. Arthur and Estelle Getty. Like I'm Sophia and Dorothy sort of fused into one. Like I can be this old Sicilian lady making like quick quips, but then I'm also just like a boring substitute teacher waiting around for the phone to ring on a Saturday night. I'm both of those.
I love this. Okay. Have you met Mariah? Sorry, I'm going all over the place, but have you met Mariah Carey? I know you're a Mariah Carey super fan.
I finally did meet Mariah Carey, and I met her because I used to do a show called Girl Code and Guy Code on MTV. And so the producer Stucky, who sounds like a cartoon, is like, my name's Stucky, I talk like this. He was producing a segment for MTV in 2019 where fans go into an elevator and then their celebrity, their favorite celebrities there. So they did Backstreet Boys and all that. Anyhow, he called me up. He's like, Matteo, I got a surprise for you. I just need you to meet me at 1515 Broadway. I go, I know it's Mariah. He's like, God damn it, boys. He knows. So
damn.
I met her. She stood in the corner and she was lit. So she didn't really move because I was on her good side. So when I would talk to her, she would kind of like, she also treated me like I was the help. Like it was very, but what was funny is there was all of us in the elevator and then her makeup guy was in the other corner. So every once in a while you would just see this hand come out, do a little makeup and curl back in the corner of the elevator. But we got this thing together and I heard her do a whistle note in person and I got to give her a hug, which they told us not to touch her, but there was a white girl crying who got a hug. And I was like, well, this bitch does. Then I definitely hug. So Mariah hugged me. She didn't like it, but she hugged me. And that was that. It was crazy to meet her. I was like, wow, that's probably one of the biggest celebrities in the world. And I got to be in an elevator with her for 15 minutes.
Was she was drenched in the honey light, right? They had like her personal lighting person that's a different color than the rest of the room.
Jesus came down from heaven to light. Like literally, like they asked St. Peter to come down and shine a light on her. That's how she was lit.
My husband and I were at Catch in LA. This was probably like 2017, 2018. And it was kind of around Halloween. So my husband sees this woman standing in a corner and he goes, oh my God, that guy is dressed like Mariah Carey for Halloween. And he looks so much like her. And I was, I was like, wait a second. And I look a little closer and then I'm like, I think that is Mariah Carey. He's like, no, it's not. No, it's not Mariah Carey. So we walk over and I look at, and I sure as shit stare her down in the eyes and it is Mariah Carey. And my husband for sure thought it was a man in drag.
She didn't have security or anything around her?
There was like some friends, but there was not like a full blown, it could have been somebody. It was very casual. So she was in a platform, and I think she was taller than we thought she was.
Yes.
She's like 5'8", and she wears heels. So
she wears a big stripper heel always, so even to the grocery store.
6'3", and it was quite confusing. But yeah, that was my Mariah story.
She looks, she was really sweet and she looks beautiful. And one thing I like about her is like she's 53 now or something?
Well, she doesn't do ages.
She did. I know she's internally 12, and I'm sure that's some sort of mental disorder. But but she looks unbelievable, and she really doesn't look like she's had any work done. Like she just looks very natural and pretty, and
Well, that's the lighting.
Well, yeah.
No, she's like that in real life, I think, too, actually. She's beautiful.
And she's stunning. She really is stunning.
What's the most Mariah Carey thing that you do now that you're a big star?
I sit on the right side if I can because I like this side better than my left side. That's the one thing. And when I did Girl Code and Guy Code, they would have us switch sides. And I started noticing from like an early age, I was like 27. And I was like, why do I look on this side like depressed and this side I look awake? Because I have those Italian eyes, like the heavy eyelids, and they droop down the side of my face. So for some reason, this eye looks more awake than that eye.
You just need a bluff.
I talked about it after my travel this week.
Everyone's
getting a bluff.
Everyone on my Instagram algorithm is getting a bluff. That little they snip that eyelid right open.
Yeah,
I can see my mom and my aunts because my mom's family is all Italian and Mexican, so everyone's got like the heavy eyelids and like that, and it's slowly just drooping over their eyes. And every Christmas they show me, they're like, and look at how heavy it gets. Look what you're gonna see. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm a huge Drag Race fan. I actually went to Vegas and got put in drag. My last name is Knight, and so my drag name is One Night Stand. And I know that two of your best friends are Monet Exchange and Bob the Drag Queen. What did you think of Bob on the Traitors?
So Bob on the Traitors, what's funny real quick about all of us being friends, all of us were friends before any of this stuff happened to us.
Shut up, really?
Yeah, I met Bob in 2012. He stopped me on the street because he heard me on a podcast, and he was like, "Are you Matteo Lane?" And it was just this guy eating from a halal cart. And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I heard you on Feast of Fun. I heard you on this podcast." And I was like, "Oh, cool," And then I went maybe a year later, Bowen Yang texted me with Matt Rogers and was like, "Do you want to come to Barracuda? We're going to go see this drag queen named Bob the Drag Queen." I was like, "Oh, I know Bob." So we went, and at his show, he pointed at me. He's like, "I know you. You're Matteo Lane." And then Bob does what he usually does. If he decides he likes you, he it absorbs you into his life. So he got my phone number and then just would call nonstop. And then him and I started working on a cartoon together called Kick-Ass Drag Queen. And then he went to Drag Race. He was like, "I have to go on vacation." And then here. But I met Monet at Galaxy Diner. Bob, our friend Mitch, who's Bob's producer, and all of us were friends before any of that stuff happened.
Wait, cool. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And now Bob's opening for me at Radio City, and he's like my surprise guest. And
not anymore.
I know, yeah, I know. But it's fun to have like your group of friends. Like we all vacation together. Like we're best friends. We talk every day, all day. Like we are like this. So when I saw him on Traitors, I got all the tea. And let me just say this: Bob loves an argument. So Bob is not afraid of confrontation, and Bob is ready at any moment from any angle to take on any heat from anyone, and will fight back because we do that about even arguing about the stupidest things. He will argue about anything. So I thought Bob was genius, and I think Rob was an idiot to get him out of the show because that got Rob out. And
yeah.
After Bob was off, I stopped watching. I was like, this. Although I love Alan Cumming, he's the best part of the show.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
Would you ever do Traitors? Would you be a good traitor?
1,000%. I told my manager, I was like, I want so badly to be on that show. Like, I want to be on that show. It looks ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I just heard somewhere that the accommodations are terrible.
Yeah, they're like at an airport hotel. They're not at the castle.
No, I know they're not at the castle. That's the one thing. But I guess that makes sense because when the Traitors come out at night, wouldn't it be so obvious? Like you would hear people like walking around. Also, can you imagine all these housewives just like sleeping in a castle? No, they need a hotel.
Now, see, my production brain goes and I'm like, but how do they sneak them out? So they must have them in different rooms. And like, oh my God, it reminds me when I was on The Bachelor and they like stick you in a hotel for 3 days and then like stand outside your door and don't let you go anywhere. And like, it's just all scary. Okay.
The Drag Race girls, they can't like leave their door. They have no cell phones, no nothing. And I'm like, it's not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like, how can they cheat? Like,
I know. But then I'm wondering, like, are you watching this season? And then it's like the Corey and Butthole. It's like, how did they hook up if they're not allowed to leave their rooms? Did they allow them, like once they decided they wanted to like be a couple, like to stay in the same room? I'm very confused by the whole thing. I need that to be on Untucked. Like I need to know how you hook up with someone at Drag Race when they keep you in a separate room. That's a whole different.
Gay men will always find a way to hook up. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It doesn't matter how much you could be in Scotland Yard and Buckingham Palace. They will find a way to hook up.
Okay.
That I'm not watching this season of Drag Race, so I have no idea what's happening.
Okay. You booked and busy. You are on Abbott Elementary. You're so cute. What a moment. That is like, that's the claps, because that is the biggest show on TV right now.
It was really fun. I mean, I'm friends with Randall Einhorn, who's the director, because him and I are working on something, and they were so sweet to be like, you just want to do this thing on Abbott Elementary? I'm like, sure. And I'm friends with Janelle. I've been friends with Janelle for almost 14 years. I mean, all of our open mics and bar shows together. And then Jabuki and Larry Owens, like these are all my friends. So I got on set and it was just like hanging out and having fun with my friends. And I got to meet Larry Owens, who I played his boyfriend in the show. And Larry, I've known Larry for years. We go karaoke together. Larry's the most talented person I've ever met in my entire life. And the entire day we were just talking our best Wendy Williams moments. We're singing to each other. We're talking Oprah. Like we were just having a ball. And then they'd be like, action. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to do something. But no, it was great. Janelle was, I mean, amazing. They're all amazing.
It's so cool. So if you're working on something, does that mean we're going to get a sitcom? We're going to get a sitcom based on your life, your international life. And it's all about the grandmas and the Italians and...
Not far off.
I love it. That's what we need. And like, and then also coming to America, and she doesn't understand. There's some French people in there because you have that. And then there's the English, and she doesn't understand the gay culture, and she's confused, and she's like old lady grandma that just wants you to be
French last night, by the way, on Fortnite. Sometimes I play Fortnite every night, and my friends and I, we had an open slot. And so they just like bring anyone in from around the world. And last night was a guy from Montreal just speaking French. So then I'm just chit-chatting in French back.
Oh my God.
And Donnie's like, why do you speak French? And I was like, I don't know.
You're like the most interesting man in the world.
You really are. There's like there's something. What's that guy? Oh my God, he died. Wait, this is so dark. The guy that
I am like Stephen Hawking's, many people.
No, it's the guy that travels around and makes you feel like the world is like amazing.
Anthony Bourdain?
He's the Anthony Bourdain of comedy.
I'm hopefully less depressed, but I love Anthony Bourdain. I saw him at, I went to go see Seth Meyers once, and he was the guest. And so I was like, 10 feet away from him. It was kind of cool.
That's cool.
I love that. Okay, so the show is so funny. I want to talk about this moment of you describing seeing Oprah. It's such a funny bit. How did you come up with what you were going to say?
I literally just told the story as is. I literally told the story as is. There was that's sometimes a great thing about experiences like that is when you're running into like insane experiences, you're like, oh, like I don't have to write the joke. It literally exists as it happened. So I was in Rome, and there's a really great comic named Daniele Gaetano, who's an Italian comic. He's also gay. He's basically me, but there. And we went to one of my favorite restaurants. It's called Da Francesco in Campo di Fiori, and they make a great carbonara. And so it's not like a super fancy restaurant. It's not like this highfalutin place. It's just a trattoria, a mom and pop shop. They make great pasta. So we were sitting outside, and then he's in front of me, and he's just looking, and he starts to panic, and he's like, Matteo, Oprah. And I'm like, what's an Oprah? He's like, Oprah Winfrey, Matteo. So I turn around and look, and Oprah is walking in. And I literally thought to myself, like, what can I say to encapsulate everything that I'm thinking? And I am, like, I'm from Chicago. I'm gay. She looks great. So she walked by, she looked at us, and I went, you better work. And dead serious. And then she said to us, she goes, you better work. And then she went in the restaurant.
Oh my God.
It's like, well, first of all, she knows where the good pasta is. That's one thing. Oprah's going to find a carb. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't fuck around. She's like, oh, I'll go to this tiny spot. Like she knows what's up. I do feel like, did you feel like you were magically blessed when she looked in your eye? Like the couple times that I've interviewed Oprah, she has this ability to make you feel so seen in that second.
Yeah, she has that talent that very few celebrities have, where I feel like Liza Minnelli is one of them. When she talks to you, like she makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. Like I've seen her in interviews. Like she was even on the Home Shopping Network, which is one of my favorite videos of all time because I don't know what she was on. She was out, allegedly, she was out of it. And this woman called. She was like, "Well, thanks so much for taking my call." And Liza goes, "Thank you so much, and I'll remember it." I'm like, all right, she said that before, but it makes you feel like they're engaged, you know? But I feel like Oprah's pretty genuine.
I can't get over how good your impressions are. It's blowing my mind.
I've met Gail 3 times.
Really? Is Gail going to space? Are you going to go with her?
Under no circumstances. I have no interest in flying off of this plane. Let me just tell you something. When you travel for a living, guess what I don't want to do for fun? I don't want to travel even higher. It's enough already. Stop it. Traveling to space, going under the sea to see the Titanic. Shut up. There's so much more to do.
I know. What if we lose Gail King and Katy Perry in the same space mission?
I just have such a bad feeling about it.
Yeah, I don't have a good feeling about rocketing Gail King off the planet. I don't think that that's like really in anyone's like, why is she interested? I'm like, Gail, come on.
I know.
So I met Gail King when I did the Drew Barrymore show, and then I met her again backstage at Madison Square Garden, and she remembered me. She was like, "Oh, hello again." I was like, "Wow, you've got a good memory." And then I saw her when I went to go see Mariah Carey's Christmas concert. I was sitting above her, and Mariah was 2 hours late.
Of course.
And I'm like, you're going to make Gail King, forget the rest of the 50,000 people. You're going to make Gail King sit there eating popcorn for 2 hours. Like, she's got to wake up for CBS Morning tomorrow. Like, come on, Mariah. You knew this was happening 12 months ago. Like, just get it. One gay yelled in the audience when she was late. He just yelled, "Your hair looks fine." Like, we were just like, move it along. What are with these divas, Madonna, Mariah, all that they had to take 2 more hours to get on the stage? You knew when the show was happening. You contracted it 12 months ago. How are you late?
Oh my God, wait, I have the craziest Mariah story. So when I was in Vegas doing an interview with her, and she's always late. Like I've waited, I think the longest I ever waited for a celebrity is 7.5 hours for J-Lo, but I've waited for Mariah, Katy Perry, like I've waited for Mariah at least 5 hours. And so we were flying to Vegas. She was reopening the residency, and I flew to Vegas, and I was like, oh, well, the interview's at 2 p.m. I was like, it's not. It's at 6 p.m. Like they're saying I need to be in the lobby of this hotel at 2 to do the interview. I know she's not going to be there. So I came sweatpants, no makeup, no hair, because I was like, there's no way this is happening at 2. I'm not going to glam and then fly like I normally would, think I'm going to get off the plane and rush to Mariah. She's not going to be ready. I swear to God, I sat down in that lobby and started like thinking about putting a moisturizer on. And they were like, Mariah's ready for you. She was super on time. And I was like, oh, I threw a wig on. I threw that wig on, and I just like went up, and it was a mess. I actually had them like cut most of me out of the interview, because also when you interview Mariah, she puts herself in the honey light. You get just regular street lights.
Oh, you're a hostess at Walmart. She is lit by the gods.
Yes.
Fine.
I need you to be a little bit ridiculous, because we're in this culture where celebrities, like we expect them to be normal and act right. And I don't want that. Like as someone on E! News, I don't have time we don't have a good show if you don't act out a little bit. I want you to wear the naked dress. I want you to show up with this person. I want, like I need things to talk about. And so
that's why we need Mariah Carey grocery shopping like Jessica Rabbit. Like that.
Exactly.
That's what I want to see.
Exactly. Right. That's why we need you in only an apron as the centerfold of your cookbook. Do you know what I mean? Don't give us boring. Give us something. I mean, what's that song? Let's give them something to talk about.
Oh, wow. Bonnie Raitt.
Give us something to talk about. I want to know about the photo shoot for the cookbook.
I was in Rome with my sister. We were doing a vacation. Well, the thing is, I always go to Rome every summer. So it's the only time in June I'm not working. Like I'm constantly touring. I'm doing podcasts. I'm doing YouTube. I'm writing books. So the only time I'm not is June. And so in June, I take my 3 weeks. I go to Italy and just be in Italy and hang out with my friends in Italy. And my sister, I brought her to Rome with me last summer. So we were there for a week together. I told the publishing company, they're like, we want authentic photos of you being like Italian. I was like, well, I'll be in Italy. So just see if you can send a photographer. We'll set it up. They did. We went to this tiny kitchen in a part of Rome called Monteverde, which is right by Trastevere. And I walk in and they have this Roman woman cooking all this fake pasta. I mean, it's pasta, but it's not to be eaten. It's like the pasta that I'm eating. Like she's just cooking tons of it so we can use it as a. I was so hungry because I was trying to look as ripped as possible. The night before, I didn't get a matriciana at my favorite restaurant, Umberto. The whole staff was making fun of me. Oh, wow, there's a model. He can't eat. Look at him. He's too good looking. Can't eat pasta in Italy. So the next day I go, and they're like, put the pasta in your mouth. I just started shoveling it in my mouth. And then this Roman woman, she's like yelling at me in Italian. She's like, don't eat the pasta. It's overcooked. Like, not that it's a prop, that it's
like it's poisoned.
It was this photographer. I'm used to taking photos of my underwear. And then we did like a whole walk around this market and took pictures of me just trying different foods. At one point, there was like a whole beautiful vegetable section of like red peppers and green peppers and yellow peppers. So the photographer's like, just grab onto that pepper. So I go to reach for it. But really in Italy, it's customary. If you're gonna hold the food, you're buying the food.
Yes.
So I keep holding this food, and you can see one of the photos in the book, this old Italian man furious with me behind me. And he starts yelling at me Italian, ma non toccare, se tu non vuoi comprare, non toccare. And I was just like, I'm like, per una foto. Like, it was just this chaotic mess. Then we went to the cheese place, and the women saw that we were taking pictures. So they kept throwing more like mortadella at me and prosciutto and mozzarella. Now I'm being stuffed by someone else's nonna. Like, it was just an entire thing.
What a dream.
Yeah, but I love this because it wasn't like some like set coordinator, you know what I mean? Like it was really real. And this is why you're having success, the authenticity and like you just doing you in your own way.
I also like that just for you to prep for this photo shoot, you just skipped pasta the night before.
One night.
Like, do you know what I would have to do?
Well, it's really salty, a matriciana, and it's also like eating late. So I thought if I just have a couple meatballs, tomorrow, and like a couple protein, I'll just feel good for this photo shoot. And then after that, like throw caution to the wind. I'm just going to eat whatever the I want because I usually eat whatever I want. And but that night I was trying to be good. When you fly, you feel swollen, hydrated. I'm trying to drink water. And then in Italian, all these waiters are making fun of me. Now the whole restaurant's laughing at me. Yeah.
I really think we need to I don't party, but if I did party, I'd want to party with you.
I don't party either. Is that crazy?
No,
I don't party or do drugs or anything.
But you've already mentioned like, oh, we karaoke together. Oh, we go on trips together. I was actually thinking in my mind, this is the life because Kelty is a childless wonder. She doesn't want to have children. She wants to live her life. I'm like, that's how you live if you choose to not have children. Kelty's living how I'm living just without the child. She's going to bed at 8:30. She's reading books. She's not vacationing. She's not having friends over. She's never hungover. Like, it's so bizarre. So I would like for you to embody a little bit of the Matteo social.
Joy. What's it called? Joy de vivre?
Joie de vivre?
Joie de Matteo. Like, it's
it's also when people live in New York, they do better at that.
I know.
Kelty, I think you would thrive in New York again.
I know. I can't be here. Yes, I was actually a Rockette, which is why I asked about Radio City.
Oh my God, because we're doing a joke about my friend Nick. Well, I can't say what it's going to be.
Okay.
But that's hysterical. That's amazing. You're a Rockette?
No, and I'm very excited. I'm wondering what dressing room they'll put you in. I hope they put you in diamonds. I'm sure they will.
I think I know which one because I opened for Andrew Schultz and Aziz at Radio City once. And so I remember the dressing room that he got.
Yeah.
And it's like you walk down a hallway, to the left is like a seating area with like low light. And then you keep going into the other left is like the mirror. Like, because they have all the Rockettes dressing room, like all those chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cool. No, because Becca and I met because she was doing Broadway and I was trying to do Broadway, but I can't sing. And then we knew that's how we met each other. We were auditioning for the same role. Shocker. Even though I'm an old lady.
Becca, what roles did you do on Broadway? I didn't know this.
I did Rock of Ages for 3 years. Did you ever see that? It's like he came in after I left. And then I did actually go on the tour with him. I think he was touring or something. I don't remember. But I do remember the final performance. I was living in LA at the time when the show was closing. And I went back for the final performance in like 2015. And that Frankie was doing it. And then we all went to a strip club. And I think, it was me and Frankie and someone else to the strip club. And I have never had more fun in my whole life. And that was the last time I've seen him.
I went to a strip club once with Trixie Mattel and two comics named Reese Nicholson and Solomon Giorgio in Montreal. And it was maybe the most insane night of our lives.
It's so fun. A strip club used to be
they everything.
vag out. balls out.
Like we were in shock, and Trixie was still in full drag, and even she like jaw to the ground. Like we couldn't believe what we were watching. Like we were so culture shocked by it. We're like, oh my God, they're like basically on stage.
Yeah. New York's pretty conservative when it comes to the strip clubs, which is surprising.
I've never been to a strip club in New York.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, they
used to sing at them.
You used to sing at them?
Yeah, before I was a stand-up, I was like 21 or 22, and there was this like cabaret group that would go around all gay strip clubs in Chicago, and it was like drag queens, dancers, and I was the singer. So, and what we would do is like we would go to these strip clubs, and like there would be like a stripper. One of them had a giant tattoo on his chest that said "Never give up." I was like, and then the basement was usually like a guy from Poland in a thong jacking off in a corner to get hard while this drag queen was putting on powder. And she said, every week, I've got a 50% chance of getting on RuPaul's Drag Race. I was like, girl, so does my mom. Like, that doesn't even make, like, those statistics don't make sense. And then they would have these, like, really shitty dancers go up. And I'm still friends with some of them. And then I would go up and sing, like, Mariah Carey. So I'm up there, like, and forever. And they're, like, throwing peanuts at me, like, take it off. Like, it was wild. I did that for a full year.
Didn't Lady Gaga do that in A Star Is Born? Isn't that the beginning of A Star Is Born?
I swear to God it is. But honestly,
it is actually, you're right.
Listen, you have to go do other things, but I am obsessed with you. And this memoir, like, first of all, hold out as long as you can to write this memoir because it's too incredible. Like, write 10 more cookbooks and like really share it up. Like, wait until the very end because this story, the story of your life is so incredible. Congratulations to you. Like, what a journey. And you're just like you're a blooming onion at Outback. I mean, I hate to say it, but you peel away the layers and they get better and better. You guys, you can go, it's probably sold out. You can't actually get tickets anymore, but if you want tickets to go see Matteo, it's Matteo Lane Comedy. You're already following him on Instagram and TikTok. And his brand new book, Let's Make This a New York Times bestseller, is out today. Your Pasta Sucks. It's a great gift. It's a beautiful book. It's a gift for your gays. It's a gift for your girls. It's a gift for your grandmother. Okay. Everyone's going to love it. And on May 16th, you can watch his brand new Hulu.
Not Netflix. Not Netflix.
Not Netflix.
And we're so excited for you. And we will see you next Tuesday.